What's going on, world? This is your girl, Marky Lemons-Ryhal, real estate keynote speaker and Facebook Live host. And today I'm pretty stoked. I was able to coordinate having my real estate bestie on today. I believe she is the number one MLS trainer in the world, the famous, the infamous, the smart Carrie Little. What's going on?
Hey, Marky's world, Marky's podcast world. I'm happy to be here. I am a digital marketing strategist. And let me say this, Marky.
Yes.
As much as I'm really good with the numbers, I'm going to tell you I hated math in high school.
Oh, you know what? I still think I hate math, even though it's all about the numbers. I wish they would have told us the importance of numbers in the world of real estate. I often joke that I thought statistics was the dumbest class in undergrad and grad school. Who wants to know at 23 the probability of something occurring between 0 and 1? But once we get out here in the world of real estate, we definitely need to understand stats and the probability of something occurring between 0 and 1. I know that you opened a real estate company not too long ago, and that you are by far one of the best MLS trainers out here. What is one thing that you're teaching your agents to do right out the gate? What's the very first thing? I'm brand new, I got a real estate license, or my real estate sales aren't where they want to be, or I need to revamp my business.
This is going to be hard for many, but you have to learn the business. So with new agents or agents that are trying to, I would say, reinvent themselves, I say you got to go back to the basics. If you do not know how to read the numbers, and I'm looking at the numbers, if you do not know how to read data, you have to learn how to use and manipulate your multiple listing service. You have to learn how to understand what's happening in the marketplace. You have to become a consistent learner. You will not go from making no money in real estate to making money in real estate unless you start to understand the business. So
Wow.
Go ahead.
You know what? Now, when I think about it, my very first year full time in the business, I was in the top 10% of realtors. I did $12 million in volume, but I came in with a solid business plan. I understood how many people I needed to be in front of, how many listings I needed, and where those numbers were. Like, I knew the area and that they had sales in that area and at what price point they were having those sales. And so are you saying, are we going back to the business plan, or is this after the business plan?
Well, first of all, you're rare. Most real estate agents that come into the real estate business, they're not a natural entrepreneur. So you're a rare breed. So I have so as a managing broker owner, the principal owner of a company, I have your first 6 weeks in real estate. And I'm going to tell you, the business plan does not happen until we get through your first 6 weeks. And let me tell you why. Because most real estate agents, they come in and they want to run out and sell real estate right away, but they have not done the basic things like learned how to have a conversation with a buyer, learned how to have a conversation with a seller. They haven't even figured out how to log into the MLS. So your first 6 weeks in real estate when you come to Caremark are Monday through Saturday, you have something specific to do. And then we have your goal planning session. Now, I do make you go out and to work with a buyer your first Saturday, your second Saturday, your third Saturday, your fourth, fifth, and sixth with someone you already know. But by then, you've kind of fumbled through it enough you can now realistically say, okay, Carrie, now let's sit down so I can set my goals.
And in setting their goals, right? So we going back to the basics, but in setting those goals, if you were to look at the MLS, and I'm asking this as a matter of opinion because I have an opinion, what's the very first thing that someone should do? I'm laughing, Carrie, because did my son not tell his girlfriend I was opinionated? So I guess I always have an opinion.
And I always had the luxury of sitting at that dinner. Y'all don't know.
So wait a minute. Yeah, I'm opinionated, so I have an opinion. I got to give over myself. So when I think about someone coming into real estate, right? And they borrowed money to take the pre-license course, and they don't have a business plan, and they're not natural entrepreneurs. And I want to clarify for the audience, the reason that you stated I wasn't a natural entrepreneur is because I'm a fifth generation entrepreneur, and I've been an entrepreneur my entire
Yeah,
life.
it comes
Yeah,
natural for you.
it comes natural for me, and I understand I need to know the numbers. And so what would, and I have an opinion, but what would be the first thing? Let's say they come into the business, they have no money left, they borrowed money to take the pre-licensing course. What path would you set them on?
I would set them on the path of, I need you to sit down and you need to, and I give all of my agents a client relationship management tool, and we need to figure out where your business is going to come from, because everyone is going to have a different path. For me, I have a very large network. For someone else, they might have moved here from another state and they might not know anyone. So we have to determine, number one, where your business is going to come from. Number two, we have to start, and this happens in the first week of real estate, even in my office, because even though you may not have a true business plan for the first 6 weeks, you don't realize you're building it as you go. So you need to start putting in everybody you know, and I don't care if they're in another state, I don't care if they're in Alaska, I don't care if they're in another country. Everyone you know needs to go into your client relationship management tool, aka CRM, because once you put in the name, the email, the cell phone number, their social media, and their mailing address, you now have a place where you can generate leads. Now, if you're someone that doesn't have business, and even though you might know people all over the US, because that could be your referral base, if you have no business, my next step is, and this is why I tell agents, if you don't do anything else, you must learn how to use your multiple listing service, because if you don't, you can learn Zillow, Realtor.com, and all these other systems, but the MLS is where your data comes from. And if you don't learn the multiple listing service, it's like owning your own Nordstrom and not knowing where the inventory comes from. So once I get you to that point, and I can show you how to use this if you're tech savvy or not, but then I can show you where all the leads are. And even right now, Marky, if I were to pull the numbers, we probably in our marketplace in Chicagoland alone, there's probably over 10,000 buyer leads right now in our multiple listing service.
So there are 10,000 buyer leads.
And I'm going to find it while we're talking.
In the Chicagoland area. Okay, so one thing that I always tell people when they think about building out their business, utilizing MLS data, the first thing is I want them to think about the rate of sale. So it means nothing to be in a community that has $1 million sales if there was only $1 million sale last year. So I want for people to look at the rate of sale at the highest price point. But then because Chicago is economically and racially segregated, I throw in, and you want to look at communities where you will have the least barriers to entry. Because once again, I'm talking about that agent who has no cash reserves, who need to close something in order to stay in the business. Their communities, it might take you a year or two based on the barriers of entry for you to penetrate. I want people to start looking at areas with the least barriers to entry. When you come into, let's say you relocated here from Chicago, your socioeconomic background is everybody made under $50,000. And then you want to come into Chicago, move to the South Side, but sell in Lincoln Park. I can tell you right now, that's not going to happen. Because one, there's a language barrier, there's an economics barrier, there's a you live on the wrong side of town barrier. And so when we think about this, the MLS can often direct you because it is the housing, the storage place for all of the data, but it's probably one of the most underutilized tools. Did you find out how many we have in Chicago?
Oh, I'm toggling between a couple of different things. So we have, as of today, in our marketplace, and I pulled the entire market because Chicago, I have to do a map rubber band.
Mm-hmm.
In our marketplace, we have 32,251 potential buyer leads right now, where someone needs to make a decision between now and within the next 90 days through today. Someone that rented through today.
Through today. So I have 32,000. Let me hear this correct. I have 32,000 plus potential buyers in the marketplace based on people who rented 1 to 2 years ago. Is that
just
correct?
A year, no, even less than that. Someone that rented between July and today.
So
July of 2018 through today.
can you clarify to the audience the data that you pulled? What was some of that information so that they will know what the capabilities or probabilities of their MLS are?
Yeah, so depending on your marketplace, some multiple listing services don't have rentals, but in a lot of marketplaces they do. So what I did was I look for people that need to make a decision in the next 90 days. So if today is May 20th, so anyone that rented out a property July 20th of last year gave their landlord notice today. If someone rented out a property, so March 20th of last year, they gave notice 2 months ago. So I don't want to work with anybody that did something last year today. So the reason why I say 90 days is I'm going to pull data around August 20th of last year, 2018, because we can't predict the future, because Marky, if I could, we would not be here right now. Right. So we'd have won that lottery. So the point is you look for people that need to make a decision. And the reason why I pulled the data through today is because if you were to do this marketing every 21 days to 31 days, someone will reach out to you. And the benefit is you are building a future pipeline. You're building leads for next year. Now, the people that rented in August, they may or may not reach out to you because they may have made a decision, but you have to start. So every month I roll up a month, and eventually I will have touched the people in June of next year. Eventually they will have gotten a marketing piece from me at least 10 to 12 times. And it takes someone 5 to 7 times to make a decision.
Wow. Okay. So we can go into our MLS. If you're in a community with high rentals, you can pull those and then start marketing somewhere about 90 days prior to the expiration of their lease, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now we have
Now,
all
unless
this.
you need money, if you need some money, you could do it you could actually do 60 days because those could be the low hanging fruit, because maybe they're not going to buy, maybe they're going to rent again, and then you get paid faster.
But then there's two opportunities there, right?
That's just two.
That's just two. It's the tenant looking to buy, and then there's the current landlord who would need a new tenant.
Or it's the tenant that needs to move, or now you have an investor list, now you have a home buyer list, now you have an open house list, now you have I need to sell my listings list.
So, and that's just from one tool inside of a system that they already paid for. I just wrote a proposal where I stated we only use 10% of our brains and we only use 10% of the MLS tools that we pay for. What is one of I know that you do infographics and a bunch of great reports that you provide on Facebook. Could you tell us about one report that you use, how you use it, and the maximum amount of leads you've generated from MLS to you tell me the social media channel.
Okay, so now I don't sell. So any of you are looking me up and you're like, well, who is this chick? She's not selling anything. I went from having 2 agents to now 25 in just a little over a year. So my job now is to get them to produce. However, I do typically test the market just to prove that what I tell y'all makes sense. So I like to, in our MLS, what I typically do is I like to use our tax records. So we have 2 products. We have Remine and we have Realist in addition to our multiple listing service. So forget about social media for a second. I like to use Realist with InfoSparks to prove the best house to sell in the marketplace. So Marky is right. So when I work with new agents, and I was trying to figure out what she wanted me to say, but now I got it. So when I work with new real estate agents, or even me, the first thing I do is they can always go back and watch the video, but I teach you how to read statistics, because whenever I teach, and even next week, I'm teaching about 200 new real estate agents in our marketplace every single month. I take you to the city you want to sell in. So Marky, and we did this for you even. I take you to your city and you tell me, and I show you the marketplace. I show you the high end and the low end. And most agents do what when they see $1 million?
They want to go that way, right?
They want to go that way. They want to go up. So, and then I show them the absorption rate, and I show them how long it's taking to absorb the inventory. And
could you stop 1 second?
Yeah.
And I'm going to write down absorption rate. If you want to, you can come back to that, but I want you to tell them what the definition of absorption rate is for those who don't know.
Okay, so absorption rate is how long it takes to absorb the inventory in a specific community. So with absorption rate, 3 months or less, and assuming no new inventory comes on the market, 3 months or less. So if you were to pull up any city, and if I were to put in, say, the city of Naperville, if I put in a specific city and then I were to click on month supply, and then I break it down by bedrooms. If I were to do this and I didn't break it down by bedrooms, in Naperville in the last 12 months, the absorption rate is 3.6 months. This is all of the inventory, not commercial, all of the residential inventory. So 3 months or less is a seller's market. That means houses are moving faster and buyers have to make a decision to buy probably before they walk in. 4 to 6 months is a stable market. That means, Marky, we're going to negotiate well. It's kind of a win-win marketplace. But over 6 months is a buyer's market. So when homes sit on the market a little bit longer, the buyers have more to choose from. So even right now, as I'm talking to you, I'll break out the data a little bit just to kind of give you an idea. And in Naperville, 4 or more bedrooms are 4 to 6 months on the market. 3 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms are less than 3 months. So in this marketplace, in one of the cities, I think one of the largest cities in Illinois, Naperville and Aurora, inventory, 3 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms are flying off the shelf. So if I have an agent that wants to work in this marketplace, they should be targeting listings from their tax records or from Remine or from whatever product they're using to generate leads. Even if you're buying leads, you want the 3 and the 2 bedrooms. Now you might want some 4, because I didn't break this out well, because this is what's actually moving in the city. Now, if I were to look at the price points in this city, when you get over $500,000, those houses are sitting on the market, even if it's a 4-bedroom. So that is why you must know how absorption rate works and what the best house to sell is in that marketplace. And the other thing agents should know is, just because we're talking about data, our local association, our state and our national and other products, we need to watch, we need to learn how to do research. We just want to list and sell, list and sell, list and sell. But the market is telling us that that next generation wants the same house as a baby boomer market. So
that's scary.
So that means if a baby boomer is aging in place, right? South side, 3-bedroom, and they're not selling, that next generation is not going to be able to buy that house.
Right. And that'll be me and Steven aging in place. But I want to bring you back. So I interrupted you to talk about absorption rate, but you was talking about the combination of utilizing the Realist program and Sparks.
InfoSparks, right.
And InfoSparks. Mm-hmm.
So what I would do is, now that I know that a 3 and a 2-bedroom are the best houses to sell, I would go to my tax records or to this Remine product, REMINE, and I hear it's coming to a lot of marketplaces. And I would look for those houses because those are the best houses for me to market and to list. Now with Realist, I can find all of those properties. And in our MLS, our MLS talks to our tax records at midnight. So that means I can pull the expireds, the cancels, and now I can be very targeted. So a lot of times we talk about data. So again, I said my master's is digital marketing analytics. So I talk about big data. I talk about the Internet of Things, but people don't know what data can really do. This is why I push you to have your own client relationship management tool, because when you know your numbers, you know what's moving, you know which clients are buying, you know who's likely to make a change. Now, so really quickly, Marky, before you ask me another question, I'm just going to read you the definition of big data.
Okay.
Big data is the extremely large data sets that may be analyzed to reveal patterns, trends, and associations, especially relating to human behavior and interactions. So we know what the data says on our multiple listing services, with statistics, with the Zillows of the world. We know what that data it says. But when you use data tools like Remine, because this is the other product we use, they're putting in over 300 data sets that pull in data from social media. So Instagram, from Facebook, from LinkedIn, from the economy, from businesses closing, from data they gather from Alexa, which will be a conversation for a whole nother day, from things that you say here. And sometimes we're trying to figure out why Zappos follows us on our phones. It's because your phones listen to you all the time, because when we download apps, we don't read the terms of agreement. We just download them so they work. So products like Remind, now that I know my best house to sell, I can use Remind to look in Marquee City, because now I'm new to the South Side. Never lived in the city of Chicago a day in my life, but I'm coming to take over Marquee's Marketplace. So I know that if I would, right, out here I come. I'm not coming. But if I were coming, I know that I can look in that marketplace to look for people that have mortgages that are paid off. I can look for people that are likely to sell based on sales score. So I said 300 data sets. So things they say. So Marky, what do you always say about people on Facebook? What do they tell us?
They tell you all their business in real time.
So all your business you're seeing in real time. Companies like Remind pull in that data, and then they spit out the likelihood you are going to sell. So now that I have these 100 properties in a specific area, I know that I can do this. And here's the strategy. I pull the data. I do a direct mail campaign. I'm going old school. Some people could give me a hard time, but I'm going to go old school. I can pull that. I also have the ability with this predictive analytics tool to pull their Facebook, their Twitter, if it's available. I can get their phone numbers, and I can get their email address. Now, I'm not cold calling. You can't pay me. It's not happening. But I do a direct mail campaign. I can extract their email. I can now put them into my CRM. I can take that same email and I can upload it to a Facebook ad, and I can target people. So now you're getting a direct mail campaign for me, right? I can mail to you for the next 21 days, 3 times, 21, 21, and 21, or every 3 months. And then by that, and then I can forget the idea that I can upload their email. I can just load an ad on top of the city, right? Coming to your neighborhood, Marky. I'm placing a Facebook ad. Then I can take their emails in 3 months. And now you're seeing me somewhere else. Now you're feeling like, yeah, I kind of know this chick. Now I have your Facebook and your Twitter, and now I become your friend, and you feel like I already know you. And now what?
Right. You get a higher engagement.
I'm more likely to convert.
Well, one thing, just to take that a step farther, right? So you place an ad over the area. Now you get to create the custom audience based on the email addresses. And then from there, you can do a lookalike audience. I mean, the possibilities are endless, but you started with a data set that was relevant to your marketplace. And I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to give credit to James Rembert, the Zillow killer. He says when we're placing Facebook ads, he kind of uses the law of averages. He only wants a population of 100,000, and for every 100,000, he says he spends $300 in ads. But the goal is that $300, if you're generating 50 to 100 qualified leads that are used to working with your brand and your colors, then you're going to have a higher opt-in rate and a higher conversion rate, because you aren't taking people from one brand to another brand. You are still that same brand and color that they initiated their contact and communications with.
So I look clean in the email, you told me. I look clean in my direct mail, right? I look great on my Facebook ad, and then I have my lookalike audience, and then people are more likely to, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I mean, and it's cost effective. And I still believe that you should do direct mail. Direct mail pays for itself if you do it consistently. So nothing we just talked about is a one-hit wonder. You have to do this time and time again. I do have a question. What is the number one day in every calendar year that has the most off-market properties?
I don't even want to tell them. Marky?
Why? Come on and tell them.
January 1st.
January the 1st.
I think that some people might do Christmas Day.
Some people, well, but
Any
I don't
holiday.
know.
But January 1st has the most off market because people are hungover and drunk and they know we're not looking.
Exactly. Or we should extend our listing agreements past December the 31st until some odd day in January when we know that we're going to have excellent follow-up. I mean, sometimes we're just so predictable. There's another thing I want you to think, and you could probably pull this for us. A lot of people will price their properties $399,999. But I'm sure that you know that is not how people search. And so we miss out on all of those people who are taking their search from 350,000 to 400,000. So never end as a realtor, never price your property at the 999.99.
We
Never.
do it because we think it feels better or it looks better. But if someone's not approved, they're not. Actually, what's sad is that you're right. Our MLS doesn't even, it doesn't allow you to search that way. Like,
Right. So we're not searching. No one is searching for 30. So if you had a 400,000, okay, let me say this. Let's say I was doing 400 to 450,000. If you cut that house off at $399,999, you have just lost everybody, and especially with the reverse prospecting, who was 400 to $450,000.
let's just test
It's
it.
not a good pricing
So
strategy.
I put in 400 to 450, 1,747. I don't know. Let's just add.
1747.
It didn't change much, and for that price point.
From the 399. Do 350 to 399.99.
350. I can't do that, Marky. The trailing zeros. 350 to.
Okay, so then why would anybody ever price a property in a way that people can't
At
search?
least not today. You can't put the price. We have trailing zeros, but it doesn't mean every marketplace does.
Place has
This
it.
product.
Yeah, but
So
let
why
me say
would
this. Right. And I think that oftentimes as real estate professionals, we get so caught up in what we think. It's not about what we think. The numbers tell you what the clients need and what they want. And so if we're not doing things for the client, then we're failing everybody and we're actually making less money.
I lost 120 houses from 350 to 400 by putting in 350 to 399.
120 opportunities. Guess what? And I think you said that was 1747. So that is
Well, I had
about
25.
8%.
Yeah, I had
That's about
25,
80%.
42, and then I put it
8%.
in. Then my numbers were a little different, and I had, yeah. So it was 2242, and then I put in the other number, and it brought it to 2562.
Yeah. So that's almost 10% then, Carrie, of the overall number that you're losing by not pricing the house based on the way that people search the house. So we've given them real high. We take them all the way here, right? We talked about direct mail, know the numbers, utilizing realist info sparks. You mentioned Remind. We're not going to talk about Home Path because that could be an all day, or Cloud CMA, which are tools that we absolutely love. What are like 5 things? And I know we've already given them 2, the most off market days, how you should price your house. But what are like 5 tips or strategies that you don't think the average realtor thinks about that could help them be a better agent?
When it comes to data.
Yes. And the MLS or something in the MLS.
So you always talk, okay, so I'm gonna say everything that you have here. Let's say you didn't learn anything else, because we have another instructor that also talks like this. If you stuck with your multiple listing service and then Marky tells you to do video, right? If you were to take this, your multiple listing service, and the data products that you have, and build a podcast, a YouTube channel, or IGTV around this and talk about data. And I'm going to throw in Pinterest, although I'm not sure how many people use it that way, but I have more people that follow me on Pinterest because I give them data. The average agent cannot explain data. So what I do is, we'll call it Market Update Monday, is I can open this and I can give a Market Update Monday, and I have more people that will engage with me because I give them what they want to know. So I tell them what's happening in the marketplace.
You know what that would be great for then? I hope she doesn't come on. But Alexa flash briefings. That would be wonderful for that.
Yes.
Yes. And she did come
and
on.
I got the video from your other podcast. She's coming on.
Yeah, she came on. So you could actually do that with that Market Update Monday. That's a genius idea. Or you could do a podcast, and then you could use an audio clip from there, build out the flash briefings, and then also use Headliner to turn that flash briefing back into a video. Okay, I love that Market Update Monday. That was a big one.
So my other one is we use hashtags. We use the same hashtags everybody else uses, But if you were to look up the statistic hashtags, and let's say you got the word realtor has over 1 million people use it all the time. But find the hashtag that has somewhere between 2,000 and 6,000 uses.
Mm-hmm.
And then take that and then leverage it by tagging your neighborhood and building a story around using this information to get the consumer to resonate with you. Because the next generation, they want the video. So they are watching more of my stories and my IGTV because of it. So then what I would do is so I can get data links, I would take these data links and I would add them to, so if I'm going to talk to you about Market Update Monday, I'm going to tell you in the video, go ahead and click and you can see all of the data. And if you have more questions, you can DM me, shoot me a text or whatever, so I can talk to you to give you the numbers you want. And that's when I would use your Google landing page to capture them.
So a Google landing page, which if anyone wants videos on everything that we're talking about, they can actually join our private Facebook group, Real Estate Live on Facebook. So Real Estate Live on Facebook. But now what I'm thinking about, because I generate leads all the time utilizing Google Forms, and I actually take the InfoSpark information from the MLS to build out a downloadable PDF. So I'm using MLS data to build a PDF download that you taught me how to do. And when we're doing our live streaming videos, we tell people to click on the link that takes them to the Google form to download the InfoSparks or data that we pulled from the MLS. Ooh, these some great marketing, good marketing ideas. Okay, that was 2, right? You still got 3
I think it was 3, but we'll go with 2. Okay. Well, you just said the third one, and that's taking the downloadable using Canva, because what I do is I use Canva. So, and then I make it a downloadable PDF so you can get the neighborhoods that you asked for. So that's really 3.
3, okay.
Yeah, Mark, you wear me out. I gotta think. So my other one is, so I like to do live video for my local community. But I like to make it relevant. So recently I was on a webinar about the change in the market and how we're starting to see more pre-foreclosures and bank homes, how they're coming back to the marketplace. Not like it will in 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13, but they're coming back. So I'm starting to get a lot of DMs, direct messages for people that want to be investors. So what I've been doing is I now share the data to tell them the best places where you can buy and flip, or it's a buy it, fix it, paint it, and rent it out marketplace. So I am telling the consumer where you can do this. Now, don't call me to invest because I'm not that agent, but I can tell the consumer how to find it. So you can take that information and share it, because what it does for me is, now I'm going to talk to anyone that wants to invest, because most people that want to invest, they don't even own a house yet. So sometimes I just need to convert them. So if I can get you to own a house first, and maybe it's a multi-unit, you're going to Airbnb it, that's fine, but I can show you where to find that information. So that should be 4.
Well, then I'm going to go with 5 for you. On the 5th one, because you stated that we are starting to see an increase in the notice of defaults, then they could easily come back into the realist and start a direct mail campaign to homeowners where a notice of default has been filed. And they could also set up a landing page to provide retention might not be the word, but how foreclosure resolutions. Is it resolutions? It's not resolutions. Golly.
How to sell? Should you foreclose? You have 3 options. Should you walk away, do it sell in a short sale, or give it back to the bank?
Yeah, deed in lieu of foreclosure. Now, you know what's funny? I used to be the queen of foreclosures, but I have not talked about foreclosures and short sales in 6 years, and I've had a total brain fart in regards to what
the language is.
Yeah, what the language is. I'm like, oh my goodness, what is this language? But you know what's funny? We actually have a foreclosure and short sale unit inside of the Real Estate Live group, because I built it out. But wait, I'm gonna get, is it resolution? Is not resolution. I'm gonna go with solution. That would be the word that I was looking for. Golly, to come up with the solution. So that is 5 tips. That's a lot of information that we have provided.
But you could take that 5th tip and you could go online and say, hey, don't just walk away. I mean, you can take this information that you're getting from the tax records, find these people, and then you can actually do video content, because what we don't do well as real estate agents is we do direct mail. We send it out and we have no way, we have our email and our phone number and a website, but did you give them a place where they can learn? So you could build out a YouTube channel that talks about the benefits of not just walking away, because people are more likely to hire you when they feel like they have a relationship.
You know what? I'm going to actually go back now based on what you just said, and I'm going to pull all of my great foreclosure short sale videos, because I was
And
creating
redo them.
videos then. Oh, no, I'm going to put them all in a playlist, because recently I interviewed Mary Richardson. I've interviewed purchase rehab lenders for investors, and so I could build out a 2019 default foreclosure short sale channel based on all the content from the past that I have, because we're starting to see a spike and we haven't seen a substantial change in any of the rules and regulations or the timeline in our state.
And I just came, you and I just came back from Capitol Hill, and we do know that our congressmen and our senators are trying to get the debt forgiveness act extended, so people that are in default, that large sum of money that they're short with, that they can get that forgiveness. So that's coming up. But you know what?
What?
I had a number 6, a bonus.
Oh, what was the bonus?
Here's the bonus. When you use tools, predictive analytics tools, and you have the data, you can take this is why you have your own CRM, or you can use a product called Full Contact, FULLCONCACT, and you can extract all the people from your social media. You can extract your database, and then you can take that information and upload it to a tool like Remine, and then it will tell you the likelihood someone's going to sell, and it will tell you if people's houses are paid off.
So Full Contact is Full Contact free?
It depends on when you got in. I almost think that this is the product that Remine is using to get you the data.
Mm-hmm.
But Full Contact, there might be, pricing. Yeah, there might be a fee, but it might be worth it.
Might be worth it.
Yeah.
Actually, I started a free account. I'm going to go back and look at it.
You might still have it for free then.
Okay. Wow. That's a lot of information. I know the people said that we had their minds about ready to burst. So I'm pretty sure people's heads are ready to burst. So Carrie, if people wanted to connect with you, hire you to come in and teach MLS big data classes or show the relevance of the MLS, how would they connect with you?
SmartGirlMedia.com.
Is that it? SmartGirlMedia.com.
Or you can go to find me. I am Smart Girl Media. I do have my Smart Girl Media handles, but I am Carrie Jo Little, CarrieJolittle, pretty much everywhere.
And what I want to encourage people to do, because we've already built out to date 26 social learning units in our private Facebook group, which is Real Estate Live on Facebook. I encourage you to reach out to Carrie, but also to join our group where we have videos on how to utilize a lot of different products and services. And so Real Estate Live is the group. Carrie, I want to thank you for coming over here. You know what, I got some stuff I got to go do, and I just talked to you all last week, but based on today, I have some more work to put into place. So thank you for being here today and sharing all of your knowledge.
Thank you, Marky.
Thank you. Talk to you guys later.